my name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and this is Casper's TV. And today we are once again recording a Rik Fox story. This is part 10. And Rick, today we're going to have you kind of give us a review of how your experience at the Rock and Pod event went last weekend. So I was reading online, Rick, that a lot of people were having trouble finding the place. Like it wasn't showing up on their GPS. Did you have a similar experience with that?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, if you have the Maps app, you just put in the address where you're going and where you're coming from, and it should give you map you out a course.
Yeah,
So I didn't have any problems.
good. Yeah, you would think so, but I was reading a lot of stuff about that online. It's interesting. Anyway, so how would you compare this year's event to the first one that you attended?
Oh, Keel Fest or Rock and Pod?
Rock and Pod, I mean, yeah.
Well, it's expanded. It's much bigger now.
Okay.
It was in a bigger facility. It was almost like an airplane hangar. It was huge. And all the tables are all around and everything. And Ron Keel's table was set up right in front of the main stage, and then they gave me prime real estate. I was like right across from Ron, facing him. Yeah, and so it was like right out there in the open, and I had a lot of people asking me, sign the Steeler albums and the Steeler CDs, things like that.
How exciting is that? How exciting is that? Because again, Steeler, I mean, it's one of those classic, what it's considered a classic metal album all these years later still, and again, Steeler just kind of had that one album, and yet still all these years later, people are coming up to you wanting you to sign it. They're still talking about it. That. Must be a great feeling.
It is, definitely it is. I'm honored, privileged, and all of that. After some years after that, Ron did release a Steeler anthology.
Oh yeah,
that has some stuff from the original lineup and of course from us. You don't see too many of those come through. They're rare. And then after the first pressing that Ron put out, I guess Malmsteen had a problem with that and stopped it. So we can't put out any more of those because his picture was on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he I guess he doesn't want anything with his image on it going out that he doesn't get a collection of extra month. I don't know.
Wow.
So, but anyway, yeah. So so it was that. I didn't see a lot of merch moving, and not just from my table, but a lot of other people. There wasn't a lot of merch, being sold. Yeah. I finally had a full merchandise table this time. I had a limited edition Rik Fox T-shirts that I had, and my guitar picks, some Steelers bumper stickers, silver Steeler bumper stickers. What else? I had some CDs that I played on, some other artists and stuff like that, and of course my pictures. And there was a little Venmo or whatever that you could scan with your phone, the QR codes, for people to get. And it just wasn't that much stuff moving. I did some pictures and a T-shirt, some pics and stuff, but everybody just pretty much comes by, looks at your table, looks at everything, asks you questions, and can you sign my album? You sign the album, and hey, how much is that? Well, I don't charge you to sign your, the Steeler album like that.
You're not Mr. Vinnie Vincent, right? Yeah,
right. I'm not, pinching the penny so hard it screams, but.
Yeah.
I can't speak for anyone else. Maybe some other people had better luck with their merch, but Ricky Rackman was there. He was off over the site over there, and Eddie Ojeda was there against the wall, and Mark Weiss was there, photographer Mark Weiss, who I've known since the 70s. Yeah. Jeremy Asbrock was there from Ace Frehley's band, and I missed Paul Taylor, from Winger, and Alice Cooper. He's an old friend of mine. I was in such a rush. I didn't get a lot accomplished. I did several podcasts. I was part of the panel for the Decline of Western Civilization 2, the Metal Years, with Ricky Rackman, Stevie Rachel, myself, and Mark, the bass player from Seduce, and Lisa Axelrod hosted that. And that, we were up there for a while with that. And then I had my signing table, and then, oh, wow, where's the time? I got to go to rehearse, sound check.
Yeah. And were you and let's talk about the Decline Civilization panel you were on. Were you surprised that all these years later, people, once again, very much like the Steeler album, are still talking about that film? And let's talk about, how many questions did you get, and were you surprised that people are still talking about it?
Yeah, those who have seen it, they remember it.
Yeah.
Some people will look at it and go, I didn't know that was you. I mean, even though your name is on the bottom of
Really
the
different. Yeah,
picture,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
you know, I didn't know that was you. So there was the light bulb interviews. All the people that got interviewed with a light bulb on the side. We call them light bulb kids.
Okay.
And there was the Cat House segment, which was a big part of it. With Faster Pussycat,
Yeah.
and Ricky Rackman talked and talked and talked about that's the whole thing and like that. And so because I'm in that segment too briefly,
Yeah.
and then they ask, how did you find out about the film? How were you asked? What was your experience? Do you
Yeah.
have anything, you'd like to share with the audience? Stuff like that. And it was a Q&A. People asked a few questions and that was that.
And as far as the merchandise, like you said, you're kind of surprised that people didn't have more merchandise. Do you think it's just because maybe they had no idea how big this event was going to be this weekend, or?
I think those that knew about it knew about it. They knew what to expect. I mean, it
Yeah.
was promoted up the yin yang for
Sure,
months.
sure.
I mean, really, every month it's like everybody's counting down, or getting excited. The anticipation is building, and it finally happens, and you're like, "What just happened? Is that over already?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And let's talk about Keel Fest. I mean, this second time you guys have had a Keel Fest, and what was that like this year? And let's talk a little bit about the fact that you got this lineup with Mitch and Dwayne. What's it like to have them on board with you and Ron?
well, the day before, which was Friday, we had a 5-band rehearsal block at SIR there in Nashville. Studio Instrumentals, rehearsal studios. So Keel was finishing up their rehearsals when I got there, and everybody's just little finite details and meticulous things everybody's working out. As far as their set.
Yeah.
And then we got up to do our Steeler rehearsal, which was great. And Ron introduced a new guitar player as a surprise. This young pistolero, Latino guitar player, Diego Vargas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he was it's like Malmsteen. He's another one of those up and down the board kind of players and like that. Mitch had some medical issues. He had some surgeries and stuff. So he was more of a rhythm guitarist this time around than a lead guitarist.
Okay.
And Diego filled up, picked up the slack on that.
Yeah. And so Ron Keel is obviously the front man, and I was just curious, in the Steeler shows you guys did, does he play any guitar, or the fact that he's got 2 guitar, he just concentrates on singing?
Yeah, Ron does some guitar, it's second guitar on like Cold Day in Hell and Backseat Driver, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so so there's time and Serenade, so Ron does play guitar in those songs as well. And then after at the end of rehearsal, he just kind of cut us loose and we just went into some improv jam like that, and Mitch and I and Diego like that, and it was great, Dwayne on drums, and then we were done. Then we had a rehearsal for the song American Thunder, which is the new single we did, the Ron Keel All Stars on his RFK label. And I played with some of the guys from the Fifth on that because we couldn't get everybody that was on it there, but like that. And we rehearsed that song as well. And then the next night was the show, and then there was some technical glitches that kind of tripped things up here and there, that stuff happens,
Oh, sure. And so how many songs did you guys play in the Steeler set?
4. we didn't get to finish the whole set. Before we went up there, one of the guys in the Fifth said that he blew his amp head. It was everybody was a backline everybody was using. And then Ron's bass player Gino Arce is always very kind enough to let me use his bass rig. So he had a SVT, which is awesome to play through. But one of the guys in the Fifth, the guitar player, blew his amp head. Somebody else blew another amp right before he went up there, I heard. And then what happened was we're supposed to roll the intro, Abduction.
Okay.
And then Diego's up there with his back to the audience, and everybody's like, "Wow, what's this?" And he's just blazing away with his back to the audience.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Well, who's this guy? What's that?" I'm supposed to run up and get over to my amp and turn the wireless on, and Dwayne runs up to the drums, and then Ron and Mitch would come up after that. Well, something happened after the intro tape. The intro was playing, and Diego was supposed to go up on the stage, and we're in a dressing room and everything's quiet. You're like,
What's going on?
all right, something's not right. And we come out of the dressing room. Somebody said the power went out.
Wow.
I don't know what caused. They were able to get it back on, but
yeah.
All right, so Diego's playing, and then Dwayne, go up, go up on the drums. I go up the stairs, and Ron and Mitch kind of like we all went at the same time. and Ron got up there and he plugged his guitar in and he starts playing the intro to Cold Day in Hell before I'm even on.
Wow.
So we kind of lost sight of each other for a second like that, but we were all able to come in like kind of where the song starts, right after the song, the intro, the opening chords.
Yeah.
So we did
wow.
So we did Cold Day in Hell. We did Backseat Driver. We did Down to the Wire.
Wow.
And then during this, Ron had brought up the former members, the original lineup of Steeler. Mike Dunnigan was there. Bobby Eva was there. I brought them up, and photo op moment for everybody on the stage.
Sure.
It's Nashville. It was the birthplace of Steeler.
Yeah.
So we did that. We went into Serenade, and Ron, dedicated Serenade to my late wife Tamara.
Oh wow.
Which is a very emotional thing for me.
Sure.
To get through that song, and while we're playing it, like always, I lose it. And I kind of break down a little bit while I'm playing it.
Of course.
And the audience understands; they get it.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of Serenade, where we go into the instrumental part, I call it the Siberian Trudge because we keep repeating this. It's that slow dirge. We keep repeating the same few chords over and over again.
Okay.
And Ron unplugged and went off the stage.
Oh wow.
And we're all looking at each other going,
what's going on?
Okay, now what?
Yeah.
A lot of the cues are based off of Ron's headstock. So we have to watch Ron's headstock for the we're supposed to do stuff. Like
okay.
That. It's just we cue off of that. So there's no Ron, there's no cue. So I looked at Mitch looked at me, we looked at Dwayne. Diego's blazing away, doing the solo part.
Yeah.
And we just went on for, I don't know, several measures. And we kind of just had eye contact. Okay, and we'll end it here. Mm-hmm. That was it. We didn't get to do Hot on Your Heels. We didn't get to do Let's Spend the Night Together. And we didn't get to do American Thunder.
Wow.
And so when I got in the dressing room, it was like Ron had laryngitis.
Oh,
okay. For singing all night.
Yeah.
Ron Keel Band and then Keel and then, your throat muscles can only, you can stand so much.
Stuff you don't think about, beforehand. it hits you right when you're on stage. Yeah.
So his voice sounded like laryngitis by the time I got in the dressing room. He was like, it was all raspy and.
Wow.
So that kind of pretty much put the kibosh on the climax of our set and like that. So that was pretty much it.
Wow. And so how did the fans react to Diego?
They liked it. They certainly liked it. The guy was blazing up and down the neck,
Yeah.
It was his first outing with us.
Yeah.
So, normally I have stage right all to myself. So I could keep Ron in my peripheral vision on my left eye.
Yeah.
Like that. And then also, back to Dwayne over on the drums. So I'm constantly, even if my head's down, I'm still looking at Ron or Dwayne, and I'm marking my space of where I have to maneuver.
Yeah.
Now I've got Diego on my right, and some of the other guys, the other players left some of the pedal boards. So it was like a minefield for me, trying not to step on other people's pedal boards and keep in mind where Diego is, because when he does his solo, I got to get out of the way so he can get up to the front center of the stage.
Yeah.
And then I go fill his spot. Then when he's done, he's got to look for a clear space to get back to stage right so we can swap and switch our spots again like that. So now I have to watch out of both sides to watch where Ron is and where Diego is, concentrate on what I'm doing and entertain the audience at the same time. So, when you have the stage like that, it's not a huge stage. It's a tall stage, but it's not.
Yeah. So was this your first time meeting Diego, or you met him before?
Yeah, no, this was the first time.
And so what was that like, meeting your new bandmate? And was there any, was he friendly?
He was good to go and motivated and excited. I noticed little things. That's just who I am as a Capricorn. But there's a couple of times when it looked like his hands were shaking a little bit, like he was nervous.
Yeah.
And probably understandably so. I mean, if
Yeah.
I was him, I'd probably be nervous too.
And you can imagine he might beforehand have a little bit of fear of people are going to be yelling Ingve, but apparently
Nobody yelled Ingve at all.
Wow.
None of that. None of that. They respected our space and what we brought to the table. So there was no, hey, Momstein, nothing like that.
Thank God, because I mean, I think in a way that's good in a lot of ways, because I mean, maybe it's very good that they are very accepting of the new guys, and Diego especially, being his first time playing with you guys. And could you imagine if it had gone the other way? And it kind of shows me that the fact that Malmsteen really has no interest in taking part. Nobody's really missing him, I guess, as far as the fans. They realize, okay, well, Ingve came before, and this is what is here now, and and then he will do.
It would be amazing if he decided to be a team player and be a nice guy about it.
Yeah.
And of course, that would be a blast on with on stage with him.
Yeah.
But he puts that behind him. He doesn't want any part of it. So we just have to accept that and move on.
Sure, move on. And I'm glad you guys did, because it would be a real shame to let one guy's refusal to take part in it kind of stop you from doing anything. So that's great that he was invited. He's not interested. That's great too.
Yeah, I mean, the olive branch was extended to him years ago. He doesn't want any part of it, so he just rejects it. So thanks, but no thanks. But he doesn't even say no thanks. He just says no thanks. Get out of here. Wow. One of the albums that somebody handed to me to sign, I said, who wrote all over over Ron's face? He goes, that was Malmsteen.
Wow.
So she just writes right over everybody's faces on the albums.
Wow, that's
not professional.
What an ego! I hate to say that, but what an ego! I mean, you would think too. I mean, first major break he got when he came over here to the U.S. from Sweden. You'd think there'd be some love in or some appreciation at the very least.
Yeah. So I signed my name over his face.
There you go. Yeah.
So
that. So
yeah.
Did you get a chance to interact? I mean, you seem like you were busy all weekend, but did you get a chance to interact with any of the other guests or meet anybody that you didn't know?
Meet anybody I didn't know?
You didn't know previously, any of the guests that maybe you'd never met before?
There was a couple of guests I wanted to meet. I just didn't have time. My first interview was with Ron Jones from Let It Rip with Ron and his co-host Mike Moon. That was my first interview of the day at my first podcast. And Ron's a wonderful guy, and we've been really best friends and for several years now. And we spent most of that interview acknowledging and paying tribute to my wife, my late wife, because she offered him she was helping him with some medical advice at the time, when he was needing something. She gave of herself to help him understand some of the medical things that was going on with him. And he never forgot that. So he honored her with that interview. And then the rest of the interviews I did were all Kiss interviews because of my relation to Kiss, the Kiss universe and like that.
Oh, sure. Wow.
Matt Porter in the Kiss room and there's a few other ones like that. And it was pretty much all I had time for.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and I know you've been doing these podcasts and stuff for years, Rik, going back to, early days of the internet. So it makes sense that you would be invited to take part in an event like this. I mean, you're really one of the pioneers of people doing podcasts.
Well, this show has grown from the for the first time, I got to hear the origins of Rock and Pod from, Chris Chinchak and how him and his partner, Aaron Camaro, how they started the whole thing and how it started off in a little strip mall.
Wow.
And then the next year it was bigger and the next year it was bigger, now it's bigger. And I think the next one's going to be even bigger. My friend Lisa that I brought in, Lisa Axelrod, she's got a lot of contacts in the industry and she knows everybody. I think she's got to work on helping get bigger sponsorship, get bigger stars and like that. And the whole thing, it's just bound to expand. It has to. There's no place else for it to go.
I mean, one thing I noticed about a lot of advertisement about the event online is just the number of guests this year. It kept getting added.
Yep.
And so that's and what I think is cool for you, Rik, to attend an event like this is we've often talked about some of the so-called haters that talk shit about you and stuff online. But yeah, when you attend an event like that, none of those people are there. You know what I mean? And it's really, it shows you that you got a lot more people have a love or appreciation for what you've done over the years than those so-called haters. You know?
I certainly hope so. There's no room for hatred in that room, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just appreciative and grateful that I'm getting some acknowledgement out of this finally, you know, after all these years. So that's a real nice part of it. You know, the validation is nice, really,
yeah.
like that. So that all helps, you know.
And so I don't know if you're at a place where you guys, if you're able to talk about it or not, but I know that you know, Steelers together, and there's talk that you guys are working on some new music. I was curious, are these new tunes you guys are writing together? Is it any like older material that never got released before? What are we talking about?
Ron had mentioned to me that there's going to be some more Steeler material in the future. When, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I have no idea what his plans are, because he is the busiest guy in show business, bar none.
Yeah, just launching this label of his, I mean, I imagine is a major piece of work. But I mean, I've been impressed at all the artists that are on that label. And you know, I talked to Stacy Blades, who used to be in LA Guns. He's in one of the bands on Ron's label, and I tell you,
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
some of that band's stuff, and
yes,
just kick ass.
yeah.
Yeah,
Stacy also played on American Thunder as well on the
yeah,
recording of that.
yeah,
Stacy also not too long ago lost his wife.
yeah, yeah. He was telling me
We
about that. Yeah,
we kind of, you know, we had that bonding thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, the guys who lost their spouses like that. So that kind of, you know, I felt bad for him, and he felt that was another thing too. As people would come in and out of the dressing room and see me standing there, they would say, you know, hey, listen, let me offer my condolences. I'm sorry about your wife passing. I was like,
yeah.
you know,
Wow.
Brian J, Mark Ferrari, this guy, that guy. I was like, wow, a lot of people, more people know about this than I thought. So, you know, it's kind of heartwarming to you know, that people recognize that and offer those condolences. That was very precious to me
Yeah.
to get that. That was very nice.
You don't realize sometimes how many people in the world go through similar things like that. I mean, another one that comes to mind was Ronnie Monroe, the singer, used to be in Metal Church. He's now in Vicious Rumors. His wife suffered through cancer for a number of years before he finally lost her. And, you know, they were documenting kind of her story online, and people were following it. And so a lot of people go through that. So it's great that, you know, people coming up to you, and sometimes people don't know how to approach you. Like, oh, should I say anything or should I not say anything? So that's kind of hard to do, but I'm glad people are feeling open to go up and, you know, give you their condolences.
It's very nice to hear that, you know. You know, I miss her terribly, and matter of fact, one of the pictures somebody sent me while I'm on stage is somebody down front with long red hair, and I don't remember seeing any women with long red hair in front of me, but from the back it looks like Tara, like my wife.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like where, you know, look for the signs. You know, I don't know who it was, but there was somebody with long red hair, and it's just at the first glance, look at it, go, wow, is that my wife telling me she was there? You know, if you think of it that way, it could be a sign. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how spiritual you are, Rick, but do you ever have those moments where, you know, physically, you know, she's not here, but you kind of think that maybe she's watching after you, or hey, she's here with me?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. You know, before we left California, she bought it's like a cranberry burgundy colored Jeep Cherokee that I picked out for her, which is, you know, in the garage here. Every time I go somewhere, I see one of those.
Wow.
That's like her way of letting me know she's there.
Yeah,
If you follow that mindset. Now, when we came back to the hotel from rehearsal, and Ron pulls in, and, you know, like that, we all pull it. And right there in front of him was a burgundy Jeep Cherokee, you know, out of all the vehicles in the parking lot. And I says to Ron, I said, Tara's here. And he looked at me like, what? I said, the Jeep Cherokee, she's here. She's letting me know she's here. He's like,
wow, I love
all right. You know, either you get it or you don't, you know. So it's like, I don't know if that's becoming just a popular color, but I don't see them that often. But when I do, it's like the validation. She's letting me know she's around. You know, like when you hear certain songs on the radio, certain lyrics to those songs that she identified with, lets me know that she's around. You know,
yeah, it's much better to think of it that way, you know, than you know, I guess that's just a positive way to kind of, you know, remember her or feel like she's tapping you on the shoulder.
Yeah,
That way
yeah.
you're not, you know, totally alone. But I was curious, you know, you don't play a whole lot on stage, Rick. So like for an event like this, you have to like really get the bass out a couple days and really practice, or you at this point you're able to just kind of play the stuff.
Yeah. Well, I have the set list from the Keel Fest from 2019,
Yeah,
burned on a CD that Ron gave me back then.
yeah,
So I can just go through the whole set, you know, here with probably with the CD like that,
uh,
and that's what I do just to refresh myself. I play a little bit different bass parts than I did on the album.
uh,
Some of the songs I play a little bit more melodically, some more walking bass lines than I did. But I wish I knew then what I know now, and I would have put those on there for posterity. But you know, if I could re-record the songs, I play them that way. And I think they really do enhance the songs a little more because when I play those parts,
yeah,
those weren't on the album.
yeah,
When I'm
and
playing them,
yeah.
I could see it in Ron. He's looking at me going, "Wow, you know, that's different."
And do
You
you
know,
think because you're not a guy that's constantly up there on stage, you know, do you think when you do get the opportunity to do stuff like this and take part and get up there on stage, I imagine it's got to be really fun, and maybe you get that feeling of getting really animated up on stage and like, I don't do this every day, but man, I sure do enjoy this.
yeah, that's there's a lot of truth be merit in those words. I generally don't start to settle down until after the second or third song.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the first two songs, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm what you know, I'm just waiting for a shoe to drop somewhere. I'm trying to enjoy what I'm doing, concentrate what I'm doing, and yet be relaxed to perform. And I'm thinking, I'm trying not to overthink, and I'm thinking
yeah,
this, I'm thinking that, and it's kind of a little bit distracting instead of just letting go and playing it. But that's I've always been that way. I'm a little high strung. You know, before the show, I need some that quiet alone time.
yeah, yeah.
You know, to prep. You know, the warrior has put his armor on and he's getting back into the
Sure,
arena. You
sure,
know,
sure, sure. And
and so you have to have that mindset that you're prepared for that. Everybody prepares differently.
yeah,
Ron and I both were in the dressing room, but there's that we need that quiet time, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's hard to do when you got people, you know, walking in and walking out, walking in,
yeah,
walking
yeah,
out, walking out.
yeah,
And the doors are constantly open and shut, open and shut.
yeah,
But after like the second song, I'm starting to find where my groove is, you know, and
yeah,
settle into that, and you know, be a little bit more entertaining.
yeah.
And then
What's
of
the yeah,
course, you know,
yeah.
then the set got cut short, so I was just warming up, and
Yeah. What's the mindset once you come off stage? You that I mean, once you're you know in the dressing room, you have to kind of calm down and
yeah, yeah, you know, you have to decompress,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and kind of do a little after review in your head of what
mhm,
happened like that, and
yeah,
you know, if it you have to also judge if it's the right time. Timing's everything. If it's the
uh,
right time
yeah,
to ask what happened here, what happened there, what happened,
yeah,
maybe you just need to let everybody decompress and talk about it
yeah.
later.
Talk about it later. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and how do you feel that you and Dwayne Miller are as a rhythm section? I mean, I know this is like only probably the second time you played with him, but what's that like?
Dwayne who?
Dwayne Miller. Yeah, yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah, yeah,
It's a blast playing with Wayne. It's a privilege, you know. We lock in really well. You know, I wish there was more space on the stage where I could constantly turn around and have some contact with him.
yeah,
You know, like
yeah,
that. You know, but the only thing we can do is like after each song, you know, we'll do like a fist bump or something. You
yeah.
know, yeah. But I enjoy playing with Dwayne
I
Dwayne.
mean, and I
Uh,
think part of the reason that fans have been so accepting of this, you know, you guys carrying on with the new Steeler is, you know, they got you and they got Ron still in the band, and you know, obviously Mark Edwards is unable to do it, but I think the fact that you got Mitch and you know Diego and Dwayne doing it now, I think part of the reason you're able to bring these other guys in and fans are accepting it because these songs still mean so much to people, you know.
you know, Mark was there. Funny you should mention that. Mark Edwards was there. Uh,
Right?
at first, we thought he was going to play, but he's still in a condition where he can't.
Yeah.
I mean, even just to come up and hit a cowbell or something, more cowbell, you know,
Wow.
like that, something just to interact with us on stage. But
Yeah.
you know, as I said, after Serenade, the whole thing kind of went, you know, south a little bit or
Yeah.
sideways, and so that never got to happen. But Mark was there as well, you know, so it was nice, and he
Good
came up
band
on stage.
spirit.
He
Yeah.
was on
Was that the
stage too.
first time you'd seen him in a long time?
Since the last Keel Fest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was
Okay.
at the last Keel Fest. We all got together, on stage, did a photo op and like that.
Yeah.
And Mark's a pretty quiet guy, so we're just, he was there at rehearsal too, and we were trying to see where we can get him up, with Dwayne and do something on the drums. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just gets to that point. So
Okay,
Mark was here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rick, I've enjoyed talking to you and hearing how the Rockin' Pod went. So this will be going up probably in about a week or so. So I'll let you know as soon as it does, and then we'll do this again sometime in April. So I thank you for taking time to do this. It's always great talking to you.
What do you think of the new look?
Yeah, it's working for you, my friend. Yeah, you look like a DJ. Yeah,
yeah. Ron, no, I mean, like with the, I got the little shadow thing going here. Ron and I both now have the facial hair on stage.
There you go.
Lisa Axelrod goes, we got to do a Rik Fox makeover. And she's trying to make me look like Nikki Sixx. That's the funniest thing. And some people actually thought, well, is that Nikki Sixx on stage? I'm like, no, it's Rik Fox. So. Yeah. But that's the look now. Guys are growing. Robert Sweet from Striper. Everybody's growing in facial hair.
Michael Sweet had it for a while. Everybody, that's a new look.
Yeah, let me try out the uber masculine look and to see how that.
I think it's working for you, my friend. Yeah.
And thank you. It looked good in the pictures, and some of the action shots. I looked a little like Mark Mendoza from Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
Because Mark had facial hair.
Yeah, the face looks kind of really thin now. Yeah.
Well,
it's working for you.
I'm trying to lose a couple of pounds. So.
Well, it seems like it's working for you. So keep it up, Rick. And
all right, thank you, Jason.
I'll be talking to you again in April. Take care, my friend.
All right, take care. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Bye-bye.